Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day. I'm Claire Calvo bringing you your weekly renewal. I'm here for part 2 with Terry Perez. Welcome back, Terry.
Hello.
What I have found is that when it comes to just, if I'm faced with any kind of ailment, I do feel like going plant-based to clean out the system. Even for those who don't choose to do the long haul, and just having at least 10 days, if even just 10 days of just cleansing out the system of any animal products, byproducts, and anything highly chemicals or anything that's highly processed.
I drank coffee 2 days in a row, and then I said I can't get back on coffee. So when I stopped, I had a really horrible withdrawal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, it only took 2 days of coffee. And it wasn't like a lot of coffee. Well, maybe for some people it's a lot, but 16 ounces and maybe a double shot. And then the next day was just a cup of coffee, like maybe, again, 16 ounces or 12 ounces. And then the next day when I said, okay, I'm gonna lay off, holy cow, I had this headache, the coffee headache that lasted a whole day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the weather. No, it's not the weather.
Yeah.
Like, your body was saying, why did you do that? And it's so hard because I love coffee. So now I have to say, how can I incorporate it? Clearly, 2 days of coffee caused that kind of reaction that wasn't good for me.
Right.
So really, it is about easing out of it if you're going to get out of it.
Yeah. So for the 3 weeks I was dealing with sinus issues lately. I'm like, what is this about? Is there something in the air? What are we being exposed to? I'm like thinking, is it my hormones? What is causing this sinus issue? And I eat relatively clean for the most part, but for the, not as clean as a 3-week cleanse. And so I was feeling great, had a lot of energy, did a 10K, was just feeling excellent. And then sure enough, the week after, I slowly transitioned out, but once I got into eating, going back, like having leftover my son's fries, I'm just gonna take a handful, or eating a lot of it is leftover foods from my son.
Right.
So taking some of his sushi, and like, oh, it's just sushi.
You felt it?
Returned, and I'm like, it was a combination of the sinus thing, and then emotionally, like going through. Then, like, is it in the air? Is it hormonal? I am at that age of like whether it's perimenopause or whatever it is. So I was trying to figure out what it is, and then I just did a day of just water fast.
And you're liking it's the food.
It is.
It's interesting. I was vegetarian before this last detox, so I had a lot of eggs and dairy. So the first week was easy because I just had to eliminate those two things. But I'm experimenting now that I'm out of the detox, and so I ate cake yesterday that had nothing but butter and eggs in it, and I noticed, oh, that's the bloat. That's what I was feeling. I was calling it hormonal belly, and it might have been, but I'm like, I noticed there's this thing before the detox, and then during detox, it disappeared. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's dairy or eggs. I didn't separate it out. So it's almost as if it's so fun to kind of like, okay, maybe let me be a human guinea pig and let me like slowly introduce, what does gluten do to my body?
Right.
What do eggs do to my body? So it's been really interesting just introducing it for one day. I know what caffeine does now. Okay. I know it's like, it hooks me like a junkie, and then I have to like go through a really horrible phase of like, okay, I just can't do that.
Try doing the elimination diet, which is basically that's what it is. You eliminate different things, at least for, I would do it for at least like 3. If you see immediate negative reaction, stop it, that's what it is. But at least go for a couple days to see how you are, how something is working for you or not. But it's a great way to, because these wide strokes of, oh, everyone should try this or try that, or everyone should stay away from this. You can't make any, we're all different. We have very different constitutions.
During raw week, I didn't think it would be doable. Like raw vegan, what can I eat?
Plants.
I'm just gonna eat plants.
Fruits, vegetables, nut seeds.
Here's my leaf, yum. That's not what happened. Thankfully there is Google, and then of course the booklet you hand out, there were all these options.
Right.
And I'm like, this is doable.
Now on Guam, when I first moved back 19 years ago, there were maybe like 4 restaurants where, you could completely do like vegan.
Yeah.
Now, everywhere is accommodating that. I find so many.
You can even get black beans at Taco Bell instead of refried.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go.
I'm not going to get any free burritos or Taco Bell.
No, but even like, you know, and of course, it's going to work. For some people, it might be like still considered junk, but for others, maybe not. Even Burger King has that, you know, Impossible Burger.
Right.
There's different places, you know, all kinds of options at a lot of different restaurants.
And that makes it easier for people to figure out where and what their body responds to.
Right. All right. Well, before we close, I just want to know if there's anything else you want to share, any takeaways that you know that stand out for you.
The biggest takeaway is I can do it. I could do it. That I didn't have to just like cheat and stay cooked vegan for the 3 weeks. It's like, oh, I could eat raw vegan if I wanted to, and I could go a whole week on juices and smoothies. And it's sustainable on some level. It's very sustainable.
Do you think it would be just as sustainable if you were to do it solo, or do you think having a group was an important element to it?
Having a group is really important.
Yeah.
I can do it solo now because I had that group.
Right.
So
Excellent.
community is important.
How empowering. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Terry. And thank you all. I'll see you next time on your Weekly Renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.